Hey everyone, welcome back to Victoria Takes on Sweets. Today I'm going to be making some red buttercream roses, and I'm really excited because I've practiced these before, but I've never actually used them on anything. And so tomorrow I'm going to be using them for a very special project that I'm working on. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so what we're gonna need right now to get started is some confectioner's sugar, a sifter, and a food scale if you have one. Right here, I am measuring out 460 grams of confectioner's sugar, which is about 1.5 pounds. And now I'm gonna go ahead and sift this into another bowl. It's very important that you do this step of sifting the powdered sugar just because you want your buttercream to be as lump-free and smooth as possible. So this step is pretty important if you want to get some really pretty roses. And as you can see, I'm using my old school sifter here. It's kind of a fun thing to use. Okay, next you're going to need 2 sticks or 1 cup of unsalted room temperature butter. You want your butter to be pretty soft, and I'm going to go ahead and put it into my stand mixer fitted with the paddle attachment. And I'm just going to go ahead and cream this butter just so it's really light and airy. Just want it to be really smooth and creamy. Okay, once the butter is nice and smooth, I'm gonna go ahead and start adding your powdered sugar, just a little at a time. You definitely want to start your stand mixer slowly. You don't want it to, you don't want the powdered sugar to just like puff up in your face, because it will. And then once it's all in, you just want to turn up the speed and cream that sugar in that butter. All right, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And this is really optional. Since it's just really for the roses, it doesn't really matter whether you add it. I'm just so used to adding it all the time to my buttercream, so I just did that, but you don't have to do that. So as you can see, it's pretty smooth and thick. You definitely want your buttercream to be on the thick side. It makes piping your roses much easier. So I have my buttercream separated in 3 different bowls. The biggest bowl is going to be for the red food coloring, which I'm going to do first. Okay, so right here I am adding some red gel food coloring, and you just really want to just mix it until you get the color that you're aiming for. I really wanted a deep red, so I had to just keep on adding the red food coloring until I got the color that I wanted. But it's really preference. I also added 1 drop of black because I wanted like a really deep red, kind of like a dark deep, and so I felt like the black kind of darkened it a little bit. And just remember, as the buttercream sits, it will deepen the color. So don't worry if it doesn't seem like it's the exact color that you want. A lot of times the color darkens as it sits. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and color our second bowl with the yellow food coloring. And this is gonna be used for the inner part of the rose. And 1 drop is all you need, because I didn't have very much buttercream in this bowl, because you don't need that much to do the inner part of it. It actually surprised me how orange this yellow looked at first, but once it set for a while, it actually got to the color I was looking for. And you see the red, it looks like it's deepened a little bit already, just sitting and waiting. All right, now this third bowl that you see that's white, that is going to be used to make the base of the rose. And so I'm keeping that one white. Okay, so this is a flower nail, and the first two piping tips I'm going to use is going to be my Wilton 104 tip and the Wilton 1. Okay, I've got the buttercream colored and inside of my piping bags with the coupler and the piping tips that I'm going to be using. For the yellow, I'm using piping tip 1, and for the red right now, I'm using piping tip 104. And the couplers are good just for being able to interchange your tips as needed. Excuse that cord, I think it's my charger cord. Okay, so the bowl that we're using for the base of the rose, you definitely want it to be a very thick Play-Doh-y type of texture, so you're going to need to add some more powdered sugar. There's not really a set amount, it's just kind of trial and error, just seeing how thick you really want it to be, but you do want it to be pretty thick. So right now I'm just mixing it and trying to get it to the consistency that I want. I also, as you can see, I have some parchment paper that's cut into squares, and you'll need to do that because that's what you're going to be putting your roses on. I'm just checking to see the consistency, and it is exactly kind of what I want. So we are ready to get started. But you can see it's like a Play-Doh-y type of texture. All right, so I am taking a small ball and I am going to first grab my parchment square and put a little bit of buttercream on the top of the flower nail and then stick that parchment paper on there. It's gonna help it stay in place. And I'm shaping the little ball that I had into like a cone shape, which makes it easier to pipe the rose around. All right, now just remember when you're piping with the 104 tip, you want to make sure the pointed part is at the top. And this is my first attempt at making the rose, so I may look a little shaky at first, but as you continue to do them, you'll kind of get the hang of it and it'll get easier and easier. But I'm just spinning the flower nail as I am piping the red buttercream around it, just trying to make a rose shape. And you may have to play around with it. It's not going to be perfect right away, and that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm trying to figure out what is going to work for me, what technique, and so I may look a little shaky at first, but you'll get it. Once you've got the inner part how you want it, then you kind of just start making your outer petals. And I just start from the bottom and kind of do like a small arc from bottom up and around to the other side. And you just keep filling it in until you get to the size that you're looking for. And don't forget, you want to make sure that the base is fully covered in petals. So don't forget about that base. And that's what I'm trying to cover up right here. And guys, remember, this is my very first rose that I'm piping. So I'm trying to get the hang of it as well. And you'll see as I go on, it gets easier and easier and I get more comfortable. All right, so now I'm going to be using my Wilton 1 tip, and that's just going to be to make the inner part of the rose. And there's really no specific way. I just tried it this way to see, and I liked the way that it came out. And there is my first finished rose. I think it looks really pretty. And I think that the red really makes the yellow pop. It looks really nice. The wonderful thing about piping roses or flowers of any kind is that, you know, every flower or rose doesn't have to look the same. And, you know, that's the lovely part about it. They all look different, and so don't stress if each one of your flowers doesn't look the exact same. They're all unique, and you just have to remember that. Okay, so here I went ahead and did the inner part with the yellow first and decided to just pipe the red around it. And to me, this was my preferred way. Once I started doing this, I kind of feel like it made it a lot easier. And I just keep filling in the petals until I feel like it just looks symmetrical and it looks even on each side. And of course the base is covered. You could really make these as big or small as you need them to be, or as you'd like. And there's the finished rose right there. Okay, so here I decided I wanted to try the Wilton 101 tip, which is pretty much, it's the exact same shape as the 104. It's just a smaller version of it. And I wanted to try to make some smaller roses just so I could have some different variation of size. So there you can see the difference in size right there. And it's convenient to have those couplers on because I was just able to switch out the tips really easily. All right, again, there's my base. It's just a lot smaller. And I'm just going around like I did with the bigger tip. With this one, I didn't use the yellow for the inner part of the rose. I just wanted it to be just a completely closed inside. But you can choose to do whatever you want to do. And there is my finished little baby rose. Came out so cute. So there they all are. I made several roses. And what I'm gonna do is I have them all in trays. I'm gonna stick them into the refrigerator to chill. I'm actually sticking mine in to chill overnight. And I'm sure you're wondering, what am I using all these roses for? Well, you just need to stay tuned to see my next video and you'll see what I'm gonna use these for. But thank you so much for watching this tutorial on how to do buttercream roses. I hope you enjoyed it, and please like and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed watching this. And until next time, have a blessed day.